Today we have Julian James, co-founder and MC of WrestleRock. Hey, Jules.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's lovely to be here via the video scope. I hope my technology doesn't crash. I'm not too proficient at these, so we'll see how we go. See if the network can handle this.
Might be a bit too hot to handle.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with what's coming up at the corner. Wow.
That's right. 28th of January at this stage.
Yes,
we're flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah. It's really hard. This is your third attempt at WrestleRock, and it's number 32. Is that right?
Yeah, it got a bit blurry after WrestleRock 2. That was known as the White WrestleRock, but we won't go into that. But yeah, I think it's about 32 and one or two shows that we've erased from the record books, but yeah, about that 15 years or 16 years I think we're going into now. So yeah, there's a little collateral damage, but we're still we'll be ready to go for the 28th. Yeah, we've cancelled a few for this one coming up. There's been a few attempts, a few reschedules, and now we are going to be going ahead at this stage with the limited capacities, the COVID regulations, all that, your vaccinations, your whatever else, your masks, vaxxed, waxed, and ready to climax. So I lost my train of thought for some reason there. So at this stage it's going ahead because as safe as we want everyone to be, we also feel that people are really ready to lash out and have a good time. You've earned it, Melbourne.
Love it. Because like when you had said that you decided to do refunds rather than rescheduling, you know, promoters usually play this as the last resort card. Yeah, like a acknowledgement that it's all over. What was the reaction of fans, and why did you decide to refund and not reschedule?
Well, I think the first time we did do a reschedule, and I think if you've got the date to announce and to say, oh, look, it's been pushed back, whatever it is, X amount of months, something that you feel is reasonable. But at that stage, for the last, when we did the refunds, no one knew when we were going to get out of this black hole. So we just felt it was the right thing to do by our ticket buyers and our loyal fan base. And you know, times are tough, everyone's doing it tough, and we just thought they'll be back, we'll do the right thing by them, and they've always been there when those doors opened and the ring lights go up, and so they know we'll give them a hell of a show. So we felt it was the right thing to do at that stage for the people.
Love it. And
I love it too.
WrestleRock does really have diehard fans. And that, like, it is, as you said, 15 years, but how did it happen? How did you get this following?
Well, we sort of came in from both sides with the band part of it and the wrestling, and funnily enough, it wasn't really something that I would have considered doing, and we were booking bands and things at the time with The Shine, who I was in at the time. And it was the Corner Hotel that said to us, oh, what do you want to do? And we said, oh, we could put on these band nights. And they said, well, we could, you could do that, or do you have something else for us? I said, oh, what about bands and wrestling? And they said, yeah, all right, here's a date. And we sort of meant, well, not for us. We didn't mean it. But then we sort of thought, all right, mate, nothing like jumping in the deep end and learning how to swim. That's how the good things usually happen. So we went ahead and did it. And 16 years later, here we are, ready to roll and rock again, and to WrestleRock. Got to get that brand again.
That's great. Because like you did start off with The Shine playing. Are The Shine ever going to come back?
Oh, I think it's probably too far gone. As I always say, I wouldn't fit into those leather pants anymore. Might burst out of them. We've still got an album sitting there that's, I think, like 70% done. So I'll never say never.
Well,
We learn in this wrestling business to never say never.
Yeah, and you don't seem to, like, you're doing the WrestleRock, you're doing the bands, but you're not getting the wrestlers to do the rapping like I've seen overseas, which I'm so grateful for.
The only time I think the wrestlers ended up on the instruments, there was a match involving Crackerjack, our resident mad bastard, and they brawled onto the stage and the opponent's head ended up in the kick drum, and the instruments they use end up getting cracked over each other's heads there. So that's what they call playing the hits. So we'll leave that part of it to them, and we'll leave the rock and roll to the band, which in this case, Shotgun Mistress, give them the plug there. Their album's out on iTunes, and I think they've got a gig or had a gig again, reschedule. I'm not sure what's happening. They had something coming up with Electric Mary. So, you know, you've got to be good to throw down with Electric Mary. So,
as someone who doesn't follow wrestling,
you've got my respect.
Wrestling seems like such a performance in itself. Yeah. How long does it take to choreograph and plan all this?
Well, again, these are trained athletes. So they've sort of got it down. I guess it's like they're out there jamming, you know, and they know the parts to hit. As far as choreographing it, you know, all these guys have, and girls on the show have been doing this for years. They've wrestled internationally with some of the biggest and best names in the world. So they all know what they're doing. And anyone who comes and sees it are going to, even if it sees people, oh, they're not really hitting each other, they usually walk away going, oh, some of that looked like it would hurt. And believe me, a lot of it does hurt. And anytime things like barbed wire or thumbtacks have been used, as I always say, if anyone knows where we can get fake barbed wire and fake thumbtacks, please let us know, because I'm sure the performers would appreciate it.
Yes, I did see a couple of scenes with thumbtacks. Wow, ouch.
Yeah. Adrenaline can make you do crazy things. Wait till you see, we've got Aisha on the show. She's notorious for, her words, not mine, glassing a bitch. She may bring a bottle to the ring for her opponent. She's taking on Tali on the 28th, and that's you're going to see them throw down hard, and they hit just as hard and fierce, if not more so, than the guys.
Yeah, I did see her her little film clip that she made, and she spoke about glassing. It was scary.
I'm not messing with her, put it that way.
I don't blame you. So we're expecting thumbtacks, bottles, glassing, anything else?
Look, we try to run a clean show. We have the rules are there, but then again, rules and bones were made to be broken, as the back of a T-shirt once said. Look, I'm usually sitting there watching the show just as surprised to see what I'm seeing as much as the fans, and my broadcast colleague who's there next to me, Chris Fresh, we're just sitting there enjoying the show as much as everyone else is. So the energy and the vibe in that room is always contagious. And we're looking forward to hopping on that ride again on the 28th.
That's fantastic. And you mentioned Chris, like you guys have been at it for 16 years.
Yeah, and I think probably about another 5 or 6 years before WrestleRock. He a few years before me, gone from everything from managing, writing the shows. My days of getting put through a table are well behind me. I did that once or twice in my younger and stupid years. These days, if it happened, I probably wouldn't get back up. So again, I leave that to the professionals. Don't try this at home. But maybe on a good sturdy mattress. Even then, I wouldn't recommend it.
Was there ever a WrestleRock that stood out for you? Like,
well, one that does stand out, the first one when you mentioned it that came to my mind off the top of my head, we'd taken a hiatus for a few years, and then the comeback show, which I think may have been about 2017, 2018. That one was, I guess, a triumphant comeback, because we were going into it going, oh, we've been away for a while and the world's changed pretty quickly as far as, WrestleRock's an over 18 show. It's entertainment, but some people can, in this PC age, we can test the boundaries. We try not to cross the lines, but they're definitely tested inadvertently and sometimes deliberately. So we weren't sure of what the audience were going to make of it, if the crowd was still there with us, and it turns out it was more than what we were banking on, which just eggs us on to go, all right, now it's full steam ahead. So they're with us, and the more they egg us on, the more we egg them on. So here we are. How do you know where the line is until you cross it?
You can ask forgiveness later rather than asking for permission.
Exactly. Yep, that's a famous trope in the wrestling business.
And rock and roll.
Yep, there you go.
I've only got 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
Firstly, how would you describe WrestleRock in food form?
Oh, and so the first thing that came to my mind was a taco or a burrito, because there's a lot going on in there. You can hold it in one hand and have a drink in the other. You'll usually end up wearing a fair bit of it down the front of you, and it's an awesome party food. It's for all occasions. or like a burrito, because they're fried. So, or like James Brown's hair, fried, dried, and laid to the side. I don't know how we got from party food to James Brown's hair.
It's okay.
It worked in my mind. I got there. We've got to keep up. We're going a million miles an hour.
The last question. What is your scene?
My scene at the moment is, as the gentleman says at the end of Spinal Tap, have a good time all the time. Oh, right now is a good time to have a good time. And Melbourne needs to have a good time right now. Have fun with everything, whilst being safe, being respectful of the person next to you, and just enjoying it. Everyone's due for a blowout, I think.
Thanks, Jules.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mary. It was lovely. It was lovely, as always. Thank you for having me.